Hello, all you hardcores out there. It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, biggest gob in boxing, or biggest mouth. Right, joined by Max. How are you doing, Max? Not Max, the breadcrumb. It's Max, another Max.
I'm Little Max.
Little
Yeah,
Max.
I'm good, mate. I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. Big Max has been calling Jarrell Miller out on Instagram, I've been told today. He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right, plodding on. I think I'm 11 stone 6 today, so I'm happy we gained weight on. Hard work,
Good.
aren't they, all day, like, but yeah, I'm getting there. Had a lot of fun picking out or trying to. A lot's gone on in boxing since we last obviously spoke. Obviously, big news is Joshua in it and Fury. Whose fault do you think it is at the moment, though, that Big Meech, Anthony Joshua, he's in this predicament? 'Cause he looks like he's backed into a bit of a corner now, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, first of all, like I cannot see this happening. Joshua Fury. I don't know why. First of all, I don't trust a thing that Tyson says. And seeing that interview from Frank Warren today saying they've got until today to make the decision seems to me to be very, very strange considering it's the 17th of December. I don't know. They've got the venue booked. I don't know why he's putting an artificial date on it. But I think Joshua's in a bit of a mess, to be honest. Like I I think the Usyk two defeats have really, really hurt him mentally. And people are saying, he needs to take time to rebuild and have a few warm-up fights. I don't know whether he'd win the warm-up fights.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would not fancy him against White, Wilder, some of the new boys. I just would not fancy him. I think he's, Hearn saying, the journey's only beginning with Joshua. This is going to be his world tour and all that. I do not see that with him. I worry about it, and I think that if he went down a level, thinking he would just steam through someone, I think he could get found out.
Yeah. Do you feel that they're picking at his bones? I mean, Tyson's offering him a fight, right? He's got no belts, and really Tyson should be going after Usyk so we can have an undisputed. But Joshua's got no belts, coming off 2 losses or 3 losses at his last 5, is it, or something like that?
Yeah.
So he's going after him, and he's at a low ebb, and we're still not getting the fight we want, which is Joshua Usyk. We want that, don't we? But we also want this one, but we want undisputed as well. If he goes for Joshua now, that undisputed might never. It's like farther away than anything, isn't it? Do you think?
I think so, and I think that if Fury swerves Usyk, I think that it does have to count that he's docked him, and like, obviously I'd pay for it, Joshua Fury. Obviously I would, and I'd be excited about it. But I don't think I don't think it's the right move for Fury. I think Fury is. I'll be honest now. I think Fury doesn't have any intention of fighting Joshua in December.
Yeah.
I think what he's trying to do, and this artificial date from Warren that's put out today, I think he knows he's not going to fight Fury. He's not going to fight Joshua in December. It's going to be a terrible opponent. I've heard Manuel Char, and I think that the way they're going to spin it is to say, we tried to get the Joshua fight. He didn't want it. He said it was too soon or whatever. We're going to fight this absolute terrible opponent, and it's Cardiff. It'll be terrible, because the reason why I think that is because Fury Joshua is going to happen in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Why would Fury? He knows how much is in that fight, how much money. They don't care about fans. Let's be honest, right? They do not care who goes, what country it's in. They're about the cash, and I don't see why Fury would fight Joshua in the UK in December when he can make double the money in Saudi.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I just don't see it happening at all.
No. It's a strange one, isn't it? But it's got everybody talking again. But I'm not falling for it. I mean, we've heard it time and time again. It's like something every other day, isn't it? It's changing, and what's going on here? It's that much fake news and rubbish out there. No, I don't know what to believe myself with boxing at the moment. We're going in circles, aren't we? I think the big dogs in the media and the big promoters and TV people, they're all up in arms. What's going on here when Tyson's running rings around them all, isn't he? And Warren's can't do not with him, can he?
Yeah, I know. Well, did you see, just before we went on, I watched an interview with Steve Bunce, Boxing Social, and he said it was weird. He said to the interviewer, he went, look, all of you YouTube outlets who are here for the Shields Marshall stuff, which I'm sure we'll come on to, you're not going to dare say that Fury versus Manuel Charles is a terrible fight because you need the access. And I'm not going to say it either. And I thought, what sport is this?
Yeah.
What is this? We're one of the most senior writers, journalists who's covered the sport for decades, is basically saying the
I'm all right, Jack. That's what he's saying, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm all right, Jack.
But what kind of, you look at like football, different sport, obviously, much bigger, but managers, win or lose, they go to a press conference, they speak to TalkSport, they speak to BBC. They can't lose 6-0 and go, I don't fancy that, mate. And I don't know what it is. Like the promoters and fighters have too much power over the media. The media should be able to say, no, you have to speak to us. They do in football. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why, and obviously the Bunces of the world just know, right, I know what side my bread's buttered. So that's the opinion I'm going to have. But it's wrong, really, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, I've made my opinion quite clear for 5 years on this channel, nearly 5 years, that nobody wants to challenge anybody at the top or rock the boat because they all want to get access. They all want to talk about it amongst the friends and the pals. But there's very few that are going to come out on social media and say anything, isn't there? Because they don't want cutting off. And that's what happens if you speak out in boxing, because it's not a governed sport, is it? But if Joshua does take the fight and he gets beat, where's he go then? What for him then? Hey. Where's he go?
But you got to say that's that, isn't it? Really, you can't have 4 defeats in 6 and still demand that you're a pay-per-view massive attraction. I just look. I agree with you. I watch your channel a lot, and I think that for what they've done with Joshua with his skill set is absolutely incredible. What they've achieved financially and.
The game's up now, though, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
the game's up. They should just hand themselves into the nearest police station, shouldn't they? The lot of them.
Yeah.
Biggest fraud committed ever in sports. It's like getting somebody to 10,000 runs at cricket and he can't.
Yeah. I know. In terms of the skills and what they've achieved, I mean, Olympic gold, asterisks next to that, obviously, but 3 of the 4 major belts in boxing. It's amazing what Hearn's done with him. It's amazing, and I think it underlines what a terrible era this is in boxing, in heavyweight boxing. I mean, but I think they've robbed the bank. They've robbed the bank, and now they've wrung every last drop out of it. And I don't see him beating the next level of contenders. I don't see him beating Joyce. I don't see him beating Dubois. I don't even see him beating Frank Sanchez, who's the US Mexican heavyweight who's coming through. And if you want to even go next level, that Jalalov, I think he's had 2 pro fights. He'd wreck Joshua. I think he'd wreck Joshua now. So I just don't see. I don't see what's I honestly think that the best thing for Joshua would be to go into this YouTube boxing stuff. Pick a big YouTuber or whatever, True Geordie or whatever. Have an exhibition with him. I don't see pro boxing as being the future for him, really.
He'd be like a top test batsman that didn't want to play spin bowl in India or tour Australia, wouldn't he? He'd be one of them, wouldn't he, Joshua? I don't fancy that game. All right. Do you think that world tour is still there after Tyson Fury puts him on planet Jupiter? Do you think they'll still front it out for a world tour?
I think they'll try to. I think I was thinking about this earlier. I think Hearn will say he'll be the line. This will be the line from Hearn. He'll go. He's had 4 losses in 6, but look who the losses were against. One of the greatest heavyweights of all time in Tyson Fury and a pound for pound star in Usyk. His career's not over. Look who he's beaten and look who he's lost against. He's still got so much to give. That'll be the line, I think. But I don't think people will buy it. I really don't think people will buy it anymore.
What do you think about Fury coming out saying there's only 2 dates? There isn't a 17th of December. There's a 3rd of December and a 26th. Do you think that's a bit too soon, and that they should be parking Joshua up at rest of the year now, let him go enjoy himself and that?
Yeah, I do. I think it is a bit too soon, and it's a bit strange. I mean, personally, I'm not an expert in regards to the finances of sport, but with the World Cup being on at the same time, I don't see. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's an advantage because people are going to be glued to the TV," but it's such a massive event that I don't know whether advertisers are going to be able to go, do you know what? This massive boxing event's happening. Fury, Joshua, probably the biggest fight in a generation in the UK. Yeah. That you've got betting companies, alcohol, all that stuff. I think they'll have spent their budgets on the World Cup stuff. I think I think that will actually take away from the fight, not add to it personally. Especially if it's not on, TV. It's not going to be on BBC or ITV, is it? So I worry about that. But I think Joshua, personally for me, that was a bad loss against Usyk. He got, forget what people are saying, split decision. He got battered from pillar to post there. And I think it was, and people are saying, oh, he's not taken too much damage. He took a lot of shots. He took a lot of shots, in my view, there. And, he's had some tough fights. He's had some, he got knocked out in front of everyone in New York against Ruiz. So, personally, I think that's a crazy turnaround. If I was in Joshua's team, if I was AKA Skins or whatever, I'd say
AKA Skins.
I'd say, look, let's just do the world tour of B level heavyweights, and then maybe if Fury's still around, we do that.
Martin Bakole against Joshua, stuff like that. You mean?
Yeah, like Zhilei Zhang and who else? Yeah, people like that.
Do you think that Joshua's power is overrated, and that there's a lot of people saying that he's only really a 15-stone man since Olympics, and he's put 3 stone on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And that they're saying that that's why he can't do it rounds and stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think his power is overrated, Max?
I do, yeah. It's funny actually. I was thinking about this because obviously we lost Ernie Shavers last week. I think just a beast of a man and one of the biggest punchers ever. And it got me thinking about Joshua, and I can't actually remember the last time that Joshua actually knocked someone out cold. Like it tends to be with him. He's got really good combination punches, and it tends to be that he sort of just like smothers people in flurries, and the ref steps in. I actually can't think. Maybe Gary Cornish was the last time he really just iced someone.
Gary Cornish. I mean, God.
Yeah. I know.
What we're talking about here is his last moments as an Iceman.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. Maybe. Yeah. Dillian White, decent. I mean, decent punch, that nice uppercut. But White had shoulder injury at the time, and that was a long time ago. So I don't think I do think his power's overrated, for sure. Like I think you can tell with certain fighters, like going down the weights, like you can tell Inoue has got power. Do you know what I mean? Lee Wood has got power. You can just sort of tell. I don't think Joshua's got the fear and the sort of spite in his punches that a lot of his and I think Fury has got power.
You think Big Meech were filling his nappy before he go in ring against Usyk?
Yeah, and I think again,
I did.
It's the hangers on, mate. I think
is that what does
massive team. I remember seeing interview before Ruiz 2, and he obviously gave Coogan like 2 minutes or something in the back of a Range Rover, and I just like I wasn't really looking at him. I was looking at the number. They had like 3 cars full of people. I'm thinking, what did they do for you? Like, what is each individual person's job and role in this camp? And I just think there's too many people. What's his name? Spencer, what's his name? Saying afterwards, mate, you outboxed him. There's too many people like that. And I think that once you get in there, there's no fake. You can't, like, there's no faking it. Usyk's seen everything 360 times in his career. And I just think there's too many people around him saying he's the best thing since sliced bread. And I think that he has to have them people around him to avoid him being, terrified of being humiliated again, like he was with Andy Ruiz.
Do you think the moment that we all realised that maybe Joshua isn't the real deal, or when he just stumbled over the line against Vladimir and then they didn't want the Wilder fight, do you think that was best of him?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Like not taking that Wilder fight.
Well, I think that it was a good decision to not take that fight, because I think that Wilder, not the greatest boxer in the world, but he puts people, lays people out, doesn't he? And I think that they realised that night that he was still very vulnerable, and I think that, I mean, people forget, like, Vladimir Klitschko was old when he fought Fury. That was 2 years after that, I think. He was an old man, really, and he almost had him. He really did almost have him. And I think that any shot that, and we've seen it, any shot around the temple with Joshua, he's vulnerable. And I think they knew that, and I think that's why they swerved Wilder. And I think all that contract stuff. I think Eddie
drowned everybody out, didn't he?
He did. And I think it was deliberate. I think he made it impossible for them to deal with him.
Yeah, he went to that many outlets and spouted that much nonsense. They've done their heads in because they're old men, aren't they? Aram and that lot, aren't they?
Yeah.
Chasing
definitely.
Eddie round block, and Eddie says he's relentless. Yeah, for spouting rubbish non-stop. That's all it is.
He's gone into overdrive now. I mean, I think that you've seen the real Eddie come out now since. I think the move to the zone has been a disaster for Matchroom, and I think that he has reverted to. I'm not saying Eddie's insecure as a person. He's got 1,000 times more money than I'll ever have, but he reverts to type when he gets pushed on boxing issues and says, all he talks about is numbers and revenue and advertisers. But that's not really boxing. Like and he always says, "Oh, we've done the biggest show. We've done the biggest. Oh, how can anyone have a go at our schedule?" I think that him leaving Sky was a really bad decision, and I think he massively underestimated the eyeballs that Sky can get on boxing through Sky Sports News and through the Premier League. I really do think he's massively underestimated it. Because look at UK shows on the Zone now. I honestly couldn't name you one apart from Wood versus Lara coming up. We've got Conor Ben Eubank, all right, but that's pay-per-view again. We're supposed to be moving away from that. And he'll claim Triple G, Canelo 3, Bam Rodriguez, good fighter to be fair, but in the US, Bivol Ramirez, that's in Dubai. Where's the sort of Saturday night fight nights? They've totally gone, and I think that I think he's just chosen the money rather than the boxing fans, and wouldn't surprise him, but it happened, didn't it?
Do you think it's being priced out for average man on the street to go to boxing now?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I went to Usyk Joshua 1 at Spurs and took my pal. It's expensive, like getting a hotel. So I'm living in Manchester, hotel, ticket, train, a few beers afterwards. You're talking like 500 quid each. And it's a lot. It's a real lot, and it's supposed to be working man sport. And this is what really, really annoys me about the move to Saudi and the Middle East in general. Like,
there's no money in UK for them, is there?
Yeah, but that's fine if you just want to be like, look, we want the money, we want you, but what's difficult is that I've grown up in the like Froch Hatton era of Sky Sports box office, and then obviously Hatton was a little bit earlier on. That I was a kid then, but Froch Kessler, Froch Groves 1 and 2, and then on to the sort of AJ era. Like the British public have driven like boxing. And driven and really bought into it, and like I've really sort of created an amazing market there. As soon as it becomes a certain level, Hearn goes, "Thanks for that, guys. We'll still have your pay-per-views in the UK, but you can't see it live. We're going to Saudi." I really don't like that. I have a problem with that, and I think that it's a real slap in the face for British fans who've driven and massively built this sport to be a huge in the UK. And Americans love UK boxing. They can't believe that the atmosphere is so good. You see the atmosphere at some US boxing events in Vegas.
Bit dropping it.
People are not even drinking. They're not even.
They're not
singing. They're not doing that.
It's that way an hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. And they turn up like when the bell rings for the main event. They don't go for the card.
Yeah.
And I just think they've taken the money from the working man, from the regular person with the pay-per-views and the tickets. And as soon as they've built it to something big enough, they've gone, right, well, Middle East is paying 3 times that. See you later. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah. What do you think to Bricktop moving himself into position? He's not got his guy Joyce fighting Parker, and winner's going to be mandatory for Usyk. One at Usyk's belt. Could that belt be getting freed up? You know what Frank's like, don't we? AKA Bricktop.
Yeah.
You will go down in the 4th.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not mad about this. I don't think I'll be paying for it. I've just paid for too many Joseph Parker fights. I think. I think Joyce beats him. Joyce is he's the best nickname ever for a fighter. Joyce, Juggernaut, that is him. Iron chin, granite chin, bit old, but he's seen everything, and he's a great amateur, silver medalist at the Olympics. I think he beats Parker up. I don't think Parker's all that, to be honest with you. He's a good mover, but I don't think he's got too much in his shot. So yeah, I can see that. This is the annoying thing, is that undisputed, 4-belt undisputed, is just not going to be around for long. I think honestly, in the next 12 months, there'll be a lot of fragmentation. It would just be terrible for boxing, I think, and for fans to not have one champion. But I see that happen. I don't
even for just one fight match. You mean?
Yeah. I don't think Usyk will fight Joyce.
They couldn't let it happen, couldn't they? Sorry.
Yeah. I reckon it'll be Joyce actually Dubois is that regular champion at the WBA, but I think Frank will maneuver one of his fighters to be number 2 in WBO, and it'll be Joyce versus Dubois or someone like that for the WBO full title. Usyk will vacate, I think. And
then that undisputed is further away than ever, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And Eddie and all them to stop meddling and just put Wilder in with Joshua, like they said after Vladimir. Winner gets Wilder.
Yeah,
they could have gone for it that way, couldn't they? And overall belts up.
Yeah, and they could have done it twice and made loads of money. And yeah, I don't know why they didn't.
And if they do it now twice and Fury twice, he'll have 7 defeats. So you could probably see in their heads they always think the Fury fights and Wilder fights are there so they can mop up elsewhere, and that Joshua will be big enough draw. But Joshua's ego is that big. If he gets tonked by a few top 15 guys, he's not going to want to carry on, is he really? And who'll buy into him then anyway? Because fans are fickle, aren't they?
Yeah, I agree. No, I think one more bad defeat, if he gets stopped again, I think that the aura has gone a bit.
2 fights from Dave Allen, the white wino. If he loses against Joshua, Dave could get 2 good wins, couldn't he?
I think Dave was close at one point. If he'd have beaten Lenroy Thomas for that Commonwealth and then beaten David Price, I think it would be pretty close.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
Max, we'll finish off on Savannah Marshall against Clarissa Shields.
Mm.
What have you got?
I've been following some of the build up, and I absolutely love Savannah Marshall. I think she's an absolute breath of fresh air in women's boxing. Peter Fury is just fantastic. I don't know if you saw he did an interview with Coogan on IFL today, which I thought was just brilliant. Went on about 9 tangents about honor in boxing, integrity, and that sort of stuff. I just think it's brilliant. I think Clarissa Shields is a really good boxer. The quote stuff is really cringy, and I can't stand it at all. But I think Savannah's got a number, to be honest. I think she's just cool, calm, great combination puncher. I think technically she's excellent. I think she can really hit, and I think that's what women's boxing's missing really, is big punchers and real knockout artists. And I think that Savannah is the only one that I can think of really that's got some proper concussive power.
Oof.
And what I don't know what your view on it is. I wish they'd just. Everyone's always trying to say boxer, and everyone's saying right, it's not women's boxing, it's boxing. Make it 3-minute rounds then, and I think you'd be a better fights.
Yeah, and
I think there'd
everybody
be more
respect them, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and you can genuinely say it's the same sport. And I think if there were 3-minute rounds, I think Savannah Marshall would be phenomenal. Like she's great anyway, but I think she'd be phenomenal. But yeah, I think Savannah late stoppage is my prediction. I think she's brilliant, and I think she should be 20 times more famous than she is.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, listen, thanks for coming. Is this first time you've been on that? Second?
Yeah. First time. Yeah, good talking to you, mate.
Yeah. You've still got your Froch glove.
I have it up there. Yeah, I'll get it now. Here you go.
You got it boxed, yeah? That's all right.
Yeah. Pride of place, mate.
Go on, man. Team Cobra. At least you're happy anyway. All right. Well, listen, you take care, Max.
Cheers, Russ.
Weekend, and I'll speak to you again.
You too, mate. Cheers.
Bye. Well, that were Max. I forgot what area he was from now. I think it's out northwest way, Manchester way, or somewhere around there. I think it's Manchester. Nice kid. That's about it. I'll do my best to get this video out for you tomorrow. I'm gonna watch Top Gun now, Maverick. Okay. Cheers for that dripping tap. All right. Go on. Peace out.